everyone. Single sideband amplitude modulation, SSB AM. Single sideband modulation is a type of amplitude modulation where we send only one sideband, right? We do not send both the sidebands, and we communicate only one sideband. Any one of the sideband is transmitted. So let us understand how does it work? How do we get single sideband? And is there any advantage? Is there any benefit of doing so? When we send a single sideband, do we have some advantages? So let's begin with amplitude modulation concept. We know that you can see here we have been discussing the concept of amplitude modulation for last few lectures, and we know that in amplitude modulation the amplitude of carrier signal changes according to instantaneous value of modulating signal. So this waveform which we can see here is the waveform of amplitude modulated signal, and it can be clearly seen here that the amplitude of carrier signal is changing when we are the instantaneous value of modulating signal or message signal is changing. And we know that in any amplitude modulation we have two major types. One is DSB, double sideband AM, and the next one is SSB, single sideband modulation. We studied that DSB may be of two types: DSB full carrier, DSB suppressed carrier. Similarly, single sideband is also possible: single sideband full carrier, single sideband suppressed carrier. So how can we generate SSB? This is a block diagram, and as you can see here, we are again using the block diagram or using the component for generating DSB-SC signal. We know that DSB-SC signal can be generated by different means. We can generate directly by using a product modulator, or we can also generate DSB-SC by using a balanced modulator. So here in this diagram, a product modulator is used. As its name suggests, product modulator. This will multiply the two signals which are coming. One is message signal and second is carrier signal. And these signals will be multiplied, and the product actually produces DSB-SC signal. When we multiply the two signals, and we have studied in previous lectures, we receive two components. One is at omega C plus omega m, and another one is at omega C minus omega m. And those are called as upper sideband and lower sideband respectively. All right. So here we have DSB-SC. It means we have both the sidebands with us, no carrier at all. We want only one sideband. If carrier is not there in the DSB output, we cannot get here single sideband with carrier. How can we generate SSB? We can generate SSB using band pass filter. Band pass filter, as its name suggests, will pass a band of signals, band of frequencies from certain lower value to higher value of frequencies. We know that in DSB-SC we have two bands, upper side bands and lower side band. Each band extends from certain lower frequency to higher frequency. So when we specify the cutoff frequencies in band pass filter, as per the requirement or as per the frequencies of either upper sideband or lower sideband, what will happen? Only one sideband will be passed and other will be rejected. The signal which we want to transmit, I mean the single sideband, we want to transmit upper sideband or lower sideband. It depends on other so many factors. We will discuss about that. If we are interested to transmit upper sideband, then this band pass filter will be designed and with the cutoff frequencies omega c to omega m. So it will pass that, and this is how we can generate single side band. For generating SSB, we need to generate DSB-SC. Then we can apply band pass filter to pass only one of the sideband and suppress the other. Because in the input of band pass filter, you can see here that there are two sidebands. One can be rejected and other can be passed. This block diagram is actually representing this product modulator where we give AC cosine omega CT as a carrier, AM cosine omega MT as a modulating signal. Both are sent to product modulator and the product becomes AC cosine omega CT into AM cosine omega MT. And this produces, when you simplify, it becomes AC AM divided by 2 cosine of omega C plus omega MT and cosine of omega C minus omega MT. So we have both the sidebands without any carrier. That is called as DSB-SC. And when it is subjected to BPF, that is band pass filter, we do obtain one sideband between the out of two sidebands. You can see here that suppose there is a baseband signal. A baseband signal is like this. This in all diagrams are in frequency domain, not in time domain. All right. So when you see a baseband signal means where the message is there. This signal contains, this signal carries the message, the information. All right. So when we draw the frequency spectrum of amplitude modulated signal, what will be the change? Can you see here? This signal is present here in the upper sideband as well as in the lower sideband. And between the two, there is one vertical line. This vertical line is representing carrier. And the right side of the carrier, upper sideband, and left hand side of carrier, there is lower sideband. And can you see these spectral components? The shape of this spectral is same as what it is looking like originally in the spectrum of baseband signal. As far as the negative side is concerned, it is same but reversed. Why? Because we know that in both the sidebands, upper sideband and lower sideband, message is present. So it's actually message, and it was originally at certain frequency in the baseband spectrum, but in amplitude modulated signal spectrum, this baseband has been translated somewhere. Where it has been translated? One, omega C plus omega M. Second, from omega C minus omega M to omega C. And the first one is omega C to omega C plus omega M. This is called as frequency translation. The signal has been translated. So see the role of carrier. It helps to send the signal at longer distance. Is a high power, powerful signal, high frequency signal. The radiating capability of antenna also increases. The frequency of signal increases. The energy of signal increases. But what is one more thing which we can see is the signal gets translated. So that's very good thing, which also ensures the security of message. Where it is lying in the transmitted band, we don't know. It has been translated. to different frequency bands. So now you can see here there is upper sideband and there is lower sideband. As I told you, in SSB we can transmit either upper sideband or lower sideband. So in the third diagram, if you can see, we can pass upper sideband and can reject lower sideband. In the fourth diagram, we are passing lower sideband and rejecting the upper side. So this is possible. We can choose either of the sideband. All right. And see here, there is one more diagram. In this diagram, if upper sideband is chosen, upper sideband is being transmitted. So the dotted lines where the lower sideband has been shown, it has been shown in dotted line. Why? Because this sideband is not being transmitted, and which is being transmitted here? Upper sideband is transmitted. In the same thing can be seen here. The position of carrier is here. Upper sideband is extending from FC to FM, and lower sideband is from FC minus FM to FC. There is no band at all here. Please remember, there is no gap. This is just representation that carrier is present. Otherwise, this will start from these dotted lines, and this will also come up to this dotted line. Okay, carrier does not have any band. Carrier is just locating at center, and from carrier upper sideband, and this side lower sideband. So you have two sidebands, and the center is lying at the carrier is lying between the two sides. All right. So now what is important thing here? What is interesting thing here? Which sideband will be chosen? Because we know that message is present in upper sideband as well as lower sideband. So which will be chosen? Which sideband will be selected? Which sideband will be selected? That's very interesting. The sideband which is least likely to be affected by the noise, where the possibility of noise is less, in whichever sideband we'll prefer, and that sideband will be transmitted. And due to this fact, the improvement in SNR is very good in SSB, because both sidebands are not going. And see, forget about this sideband concept. If both the sideband goes, if both the sidebands are transmitted, we know that most of the noise component is contributed in the channel. Now you are sending only one sideband, so you have limited, band utilized in the spectrum, that is in the channel. So there is less possibility of mixing noise signal. When you expand your channel capacity more and more, there is more and more possibility of mixing noise or interference. So this is how you can choose one sideband that can give better SNR, and that sideband can be chosen. And this results the improved SNR in SSB. SSB is therefore widely used in HF, that is high frequency, short wave, and two-wave radio communication. Two-wave radio communication. High frequency two-wave. When high frequency means wavelength will be less, therefore we are calling it as short wave. Okay, so SSB supports multiple users which require two-way radio communication applications, such as marine applications, point-to-point communication, military application, as well as radio amateurs, which is also called as radio hams. Radio ham is shown in the diagram. It has been shown here, radio ham, and this radio ham is actually, a communication which is connecting one point to other point. So there, that to high frequency communication, the SSB can be used because of lesser bandwidth required. If only one sideband is going, how much bandwidth will be required? Half bandwidth will be required. We know that FC plus, that is omega C to omega M, bandwidth is present in upper sideband, bandwidth is required. Same bandwidth is required in lower sideband. So when we send DSB, the requirement will be double up what we are requiring in SSB. So therefore, if bandwidth requirement becomes less, Improved SNR is also there. We'll prefer in point-to-point communication to have good quality of signal, good quality of voice. And therefore, SSB is used in such applications. It is generally used for voice transmission because in voice transmission, the quality of sound, the quality of voice plays a significant role. But fundamentally, it can be used for several other applications as well, like radio communication using analog signal, military application, and other so many applications. But it is generally used for voice communication system. Now, how can we obtain the expression for SSB? SSB is obtained by removing some of the components of the ordinary AM signal to significantly improve the efficiency. How? Let us understand. How do we get improvement in power efficiency? We know that the complete AM signal is written as AC cosine omega CT plus MAC by 2 cosine omega C plus omega MT plus MAC by 2 cosine omega C minus omega M. This has come from the product, right? MAC cos omega CT multiplied by cosine omega MT. So when you calculate power, we have done power calculation in AM. This corresponds to carrier power. What will be carrier power? We calculate normalized RMS power. So AC by square root of 2 square. So carrier power becomes AC square by 2. We have done the calculation. And then we'll get M square by 4 into PC. Otherwise, M square by 8 into AC square will be power of any sideband. So what will be, how do we define power efficiency actually? In double sideband, how do we define power efficiency? Power efficiency means what? Total power is there. How much power is actually required to send the signal? So when you transmit both the sideband, what will happen? LSB and USB both are transmitted, both are sent. What will be power efficiency? M square by 4 into PC, M square by 4 into PC, upper sideband power, lower sideband power, and divided by total power. When you add these total sideband power, what is total sideband power? M square by 2 into PC, when you add these two. And plus PC, because carrier power plus total sideband power is the transmitted power, total power that can be transmitted. So how do we define power efficiency? This one. Now remember, when you do not send one sideband, one of the sideband, what will happen? This particular term will not be there, will not go there. So the power efficiency, is lesser power will be required. Lesser power will be required. This term is actually calculating how much power is needed, how much power can be saved. PC is saved here. We do not require to send carrier here. But when we calculate for SSB, the saving of one more sideband power will also be there. So more power saving. So this is why, this is how it's called as, it's referred as improvement in power efficiency, because lesser power is needed when we are suppressing one sideband. So the bandwidth occupied by AM signal is twice of maximum frequency of signal that is used to modulate the carrier. All right. If there is a maximum signal frequency, say 0 Hertz to FM Hertz, what will be bandwidth? FM minus 0, which will give you FM Hertz. So what is bandwidth? Twice of the bandwidth of message signal. And when we do not send one message, we do not send one sideband, what will happen? The bandwidth occupied is twice in AM, but in SSB, we can save bandwidth. In fact, we save the half bandwidth. When bandwidth is 2 FM in AM, in SSB, the bandwidth required will be FM only. Is that clear? Because we are not sending one of the sideband. So this is the biggest advantage in SSB, because in communication system, bandwidth is the term that involves cost. So cost saving will also be there. When we are saving half bandwidth, it means there will be saving in the cost in the implementation of SSB. So when we are saying that there is saving of half bandwidth, so potentially the cost of SSB will be lesser than the cost of DSB. Now SSB improves efficiency by removing some unnecessary elements. Unnecessary element means the unnecessary sideband which is not needed, and the sideband which is we are preferring as a better sideband, we are sending it. So what will happen? That sideband, because of that sideband, power required will be less. This is how the efficiency will be better. Carrier can be reinserted in the receiver with a suitable synchronizer. This is important line. Please understand. Since we are not sending carrier, we know that the role of carrier becomes very important in order to recover the message signal at the receiver by demodulating, by detecting the signal. And when there is no carrier sent along with the sideband, what will happen? We need to generate exact same carrier frequency at the receiver. And therefore, the carrier can be reinserted in the receiver means the same carrier needs to be generated at the receiver. So that mechanism has to be made, that design has to be changed, that extra arrangement has to be provided so that the precise value of carrier frequency can be generated and can be applied to the modulated signal which is received, so that we recover the message signal, that is baseband. So there is one more problem associated with this theory. When we are generating carrier signal, what is important is we need the exact carrier. And if we do not get exact carrier, there will be problem of synchronization. And when there is a problem of synchronization, it will cause drift in frequency of the signal being received or being detected, being recovered. So therefore, we need to have a synchronization also. We need to have synchronizer circuit at the receiver. So when we implement SSB, there is saving of bandwidth, there is saving of cost, power efficiency is more, but we have to do it at the expense of some complexity, at the expense of some extra arrangements needed. Like we need to have an arrangement to generate carrier signal. We need to have a synchronizer circuit so that it maintains, it ensures the synchronization between transmitter and receiver. So this is something which makes SSB, requiring some more arrangements at the receiver. Two sidebands are mirror images of one another and carry the same information, therefore we can remove. I mean, why? I have already explained in the previous slide. We know that both the sidebands carries equal message, means message is equally present in both the sidebands. So we can just remove one sideband and we can choose one sideband, because in both the sideband equal amount of message, the information of the modulating signal or the message signal is there. This is the signal when you can see the dotted lines, red color, where carrier is suppressed and lower sideband is suppressed. What is being sent? Only the upper sideband is only sent here. Only upper sideband is sent and no carrier, no lower sideband. So we'll call it as SSB-SC, single sideband, suppressed carrier. Carrier is also suppressed and the sideband is also suppressed. One of the sideband is also suppressed. All right. So advantages. What are the advantages of SSB? 50% reduction in transmitted power level for same level of information carrying signal. What is this advantage? The message, the amount of message, the content of modulating signal is same even if single sideband is transmitted. The same message is delivered when we send both the sideband. The signal can be recovered at the receiver from both the sideband, but same amount of signal can also be recovered from one sideband. So it means 50% of transmitted power is not needed to spend. So there is 50% reduction in the transmitted power level. And in that case also, the message content or the information in the message is transmitted, is detected, is received at the receiver. If only one sideband is transmitted, there is further reduction in the transmitted power. All right, as we have already explained, the bandwidth can be reduced by half. It is reduced by half. Bandwidth is reduced by half because bandwidth occupied is calculated in AM signal by combining bandwidth of upper sideband and bandwidth of lower sideband. Since we are communicating only one sideband, so the bandwidth saving will be there. And how much saving will be there? Half saving, half of the bandwidth will be saved. So the requirement of bandwidth will become half. That will, as I explained, will give us other advantage, that the cost, potential cost of SSB is lesser than that of DSB. Because when we talk about bandwidth in communication system, bandwidth is is something which you have to buy from the spectrum. So more the bandwidth it's occupying means, the service provider has a limited space, limited bandwidth, and there you are occupying more bandwidth for your message signal. When you are using DSB, it means it is requiring more cost. It is demanding for more cost. So when you use SSB, the bandwidth becomes half. Thereby, subsequently, we reduce the cost needed in SSB. Next advantage is, though we have explained this, improved SNR by a factor of 2. This is the calculation which we have not done here. We'll do in subsequent lecture. The bandwidth, the SNR improvement is there. I have explained you why SNR is improved. Because the channel has also constricted. The channel means the total bandwidth of the transmitted signal has become half. So the possibility of interference and the noise to be mixed with the original signal has reduced. And moreover, as I explained you earlier, that between the two sideband which is least likely to be affected can be chosen. And this is how we can avoid the possibility of the noise or unwanted signal mixed with the original signal. And therefore, the SNR is improved. This is due to the narrower bandwidth. I have already explained narrower bandwidth. I'm sorry. That allows less noise and interference. In case of SSB, we are using narrower bandwidth. So when there is narrower bandwidth used, what will happen? Lesser noise, lesser interferences are likely to affect the signal which is transmitted, which is traveling in the space occupying half the bandwidth. This is why the SNR is improved. How much improvement is there? 3 decibel. dB is the unit to express the unit of dimension of some dimensionless quantity like gain, SNR, power gain, efficiency. We can express in dB, right? So what are the drawbacks? Is there any drawback associated with SSB? Of course, generation process of the SSB is complex. When you design SSB receiver, when you try to recover the message signal from SSB, it's not simple, it's complex. Why it is complex? Is because of there is a need of generating carrier signal at the receiver, and again there is a problem which arises from generating the carrier signal. When you generate a carrier signal, if you are not able to generate the exact carrier signal at the receiver, it requires synchronization. It creates synchronization problem. When there is no synchronization between the transmitter and receiver, there would be difficulty in recovering the signal. We will not be able to accurately recover our original signal. So therefore, the synchronization circuit is needed. Extra arrangement for generating carrier signal is needed, and this is why the generation process or the circuit complexity, you can say, the entire circuitry, the circuit complexity, the complexity of circuitry which is made at the SSB design or a receiver of SSB will be complex. So whenever there is a complexity, it will have, you know, impact in the design and the performance as well. And when there is a complexity, when there is need of synchronization, when there is a need of SSB, that is carrier generation, so it will also increase the cost. Though I have explained you, bandwidth is saving is there, half the bandwidth, that also gives advantage of saving some cost. But some more cost will be required. We need to spend something, you know, on the requirements to generate carrier and to implement the synchronization circuit. So synchronization is required, cost becomes more due to synchronization circuit and the arrangement to make the carrier signal. So these are the drawbacks. The applications of the SSB include power saving. Wherever there is power saving and bandwidth are expected, we want an application where we want we want to reduce the power, we want to implement with lesser power and with lesser bandwidth, that to half bandwidth. So wherever power saving and bandwidth are expected, in all those applications SSB can be used. It can be used in air communication, land, maritime communication. In all these types of communications, your SSB can be used, provided the power saving and bandwidth are the requirement in these applications. Used in radio, point-to-point communication, telemetry, TV, radar, amateur radio, all these are the practical applications of SSB. Radio, we all know, point-to-point communication to have good quality of voice communication. Telemetry, TV, radar, all these are applications where SSB is used. So let's sum up, summarize the lecture, what we have discussed in this lecture. This lecture is all about SSB, single sideband modulation. So we started with defining amplitude modulation. Amplitude modulation is a method of modulation in which the carrier frequency, amplitude of carrier signal changes, that too in accordance with the instantaneous value of modulating signal. And when we do so, the complete AM signal, the full AM signal includes two sidebands, upper sideband and lower sideband. And in that method, like DSB method, both the sidebands are transmitted. We can suppress one sideband and we can just transmit only one sideband. Why it can be done? We have studied, because message lies in both the sidebands equally. The bandwidth of both the sidebands is equal. The bandwidth of upper sideband as well as lower sideband. The same message is there. Both the sidebands carry the same message. And therefore, either of the sideband can be rejected. So in SSB, what do? We reject one sideband and we send what we communicate one side. Now question arises, which sideband? So the sideband which is least likely to be affected by noise and interference can be chosen, number one. Now how the SSB can be generated? There are methods to generate SSB signal. One such method we have discussed in this lecture is using a product modulator. Product modulator produces DSB-SC. Then it is sent to, here you see the diagram. Then it is sent to band pass filter. Then it is sent to band pass filter, where only one signal, one of the sideband is passed and that allowed, and other sideband is rejected. And then we have done some calculation on the power, that power saving is there, less power is required when we are transmitting only one sideband. Then we also discussed about the advantages and disadvantages. Half bandwidth is needed. because we are sending one sideband, so the extra bandwidth of other sideband will be saved. So bandwidth saving is there, and it is used in high frequency point-to-point radio communication. The efficiency of power is also enhanced due to the power needed is less. But the drawback associated with SSB is we need to generate the precisely same carrier frequency, and therefore the circuit becomes little complex. And due to requirement of synchronization and the circuit arrangement to generate carrier frequency, the cost also gets increased, and the complexity of circuitry wherever it is there in any application, in any design, it creates a lot of other difficulties. So these are the drawbacks. And then we talked about the various applications, especially the applications where the power requirement is less, the bandwidth requirement is less, maritime applications, air and land communication, point-to-point communication, where we are interested to have better voice quality, right? Even security, even enhanced security and intelligibility is there in the SSB, and therefore in military as well as maritime communication are the applications where SSB is used. So this is all for today's lecture.